Hey there, guys. It's me, J2O, and I'm back, baby. I am back on YouTube. Damn, it has been a long time. It's been a long time, I must say. And listen, when I think about it, the last time I made a YouTube video, it's not currently on my YouTube channel, but technically, the last time I made a video and uploaded it was back when I was in Kenya, actually. I was in Kenya from December 2022 for like a month, came back to England January 2023. But the 1st of January, the new year of 2023, was the last time I technically did make a video. Now, the last video you do see on the channel was Argentina beating Croatia 3-0 at the World Cup. And it's been a long time since then, in regards to football in general, in regards to Chelsea Football Club, in regards to my life. And look, I'm really sorry that I've been gone for such a long time. Um, I didn't plan to take this long, but I guess things happen in your life. And yeah, there's many reasons why I haven't been making content for a while, but it is what it is. We're here now. We're back. We're gonna be consistent again. The Euros is coming up, so I'm gonna be covering that. Chelsea, you know what I'm saying? The club I love, the club I support. A lot's happened, and that's who we're gonna talk about today because that's my club. And that's what this channel's about. It's about talking about Chelsea and, of course, other footballing related things because I am a football man first. But for today's video, it's Chelsea first. And it's going to be mainly Chelsea all the way up until the Euros. And obviously, when the Euros starts and Germany face Scotland, I'm pretty sure that's the first game on Friday. I obviously will be there to cover the game, talk about it, review it, and just talk about the Euros in general. Talk about all the games. And, you know, as the tournament goes on, I'll tell you who my favorites are and what I think, because I'm not quite sure at the moment as of today. The squads are interesting, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that when the time comes. But today is about Chelsea. I'm back on YouTube, guys. The consistency, the grind is coming back, and I promise I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. I'm serious about this. You know, I want to go as far as possible. I'm not the type to give up. I know I've taken a long break. It's been over a year and a half and it's mad. It's absolute madness what's happened since then. Like, I remember the last video I made like it was yesterday. We're now here 10th of June 2024. It's absolutely unbelievable. We're nearly halfway through the year. You know, we're 6 months into the year. It's absolutely crazy. So yeah, let's talk, man. Chelsea Football Club. You've a lot's happened since I last made a video, huh? Last time I made a video, Graham Potter was our manager. Yes. And in that video, even though it's not on the channel, it was us drawing to Nottingham Forest away in the new year. And can I just say, a lot has flipping changed since then. I mean, Potter's been our manager. We've had, I think, that Bruno Salto guy manage one game for us. We had Frank Lampard as our interim. We had Mauricio Pochettino. And now we've got Enzo Maresca, who I'll talk about later. The squad has changed a lot. I mean, back then, I was seeing the Koulibalys of this world playing. Now, I'm seeing this Disassi, bruv. I mean, it's absolute madness, you get me? But, hey, we're here to talk about it, man. Where do I start, man? Like, where do I actually start? Now, as you can see in the thumbnail, there's four pictures. You've got Todd Bowley, Egbali there. You've got Enzo Maresca there. You've got the sporting directors in Stuart and Paul Winstanley, and you've got our former manager in Maurizio Pochettino. So I just wanted to talk about the state of affairs that's happened with our football club over the past, I would say, year or so, ever since around the times when Poch was hired at the club. And it sort of feels like with the club for the last year, 18 months, that right now, it feels like for the first time, things are starting to, I'm not going to say come together yet because we haven't had a successful season yet under this ownership. But it does feel like, for once, that the people upstairs, if they potentially now know what they're doing. It felt like beforehand, and this was my actual concern when the owners came in the first place. There's a video I made back when obviously Rome was going to sell the club. I made a video about obviously Todd Bowley, Hansel Wiss. I mean, where is he, to be fair? And like the team that was going to come in and well, the guys who were the favourites to take over Chelsea, and it's these guys. It's Bluco, it's Clear Lake Capital, it's Todd Bowley, it's Egbali, it's Jose Feliciano. It's these guys now. My concern with these guys, alongside the sporting directors and all the other guys that are behind the scenes, was too many cooks in the kitchen, too many disagreements. No one's ever gonna be on the same page. No one's gonna feel like the club. How do I say this? Like, no one's gonna agree on the direction that the club is going. Obviously, they want the club to be successful, but in terms of the direction and like in terms of which way do they want the club to go? Like, how do they want the club to be successful is what I'm trying to say. It feels like there was different points of view. And I think it showed in our managerial appointment last summer when we hired Pochettino. Now, with Pochettino, I don't think that was unanimous. I don't think that was an appointment that everybody agreed on. Whilst with Enzo Maresca, it kind of feels to me that everyone's for this around the club. I'm talking about the two sporting directors. I'm talking about the owners of the football club and everyone just behind the scenes in general. It feels like everyone wanted Enzo Maresca. Everyone was in agreement. Enzo Maresca. It didn't feel like, based on reports, that we shouldn't get Enzo. Maybe we should get, I don't know, Hansi Flick. We should get Vincent Company or whoever. Those are just names I'm just throwing out, for example. Whilst with last year, before we got Poch, I just feel like disagreements were all over the place. I genuinely think some people at the club wanted Vincent Company. I think some people at the club wanted Julian Nagelsmann. I think the majority of the people at our football club upstairs wanted Julian Nagelsmann. But it seems like Julian Nagelsmann rejected us, and then it felt like that's when the process really prolonged, because he was the heavy favourite. As much as at the time I wanted Luis Enrique, Nagelsmann was the heavy favourite. Personally, I'm happy he didn't go through because I didn't want Nagelsmann. I think he's slightly overrated. I think he's a good manager, but I think he's massively overrated. And I don't think he would have gotten along with who we had at the club anyway. That's just my opinion. Anyway, so when we hired Poch, at the time, I was actually kind of happy. Kind of happy because my first choice personally was Luis Enrique. I thought, you know what? We need a top manager in. We need a world-class manager in. A manager that knows how to win. A manager that stands on business. And I felt like Luis Enrique was that guy. And in terms of the way he plays football and the type of football this club wants to see, I felt like Luis Enrique could fit that. And I don't regret that. Till to this day, I would take Luis Enrique. But it's okay that he's not here. He's obviously at PSG. He's doing his thing. Good luck to him. I like him personally. But it is what it is. When we hired Poch, I thought, okay, cool. He was my second choice out of all the managers that we were linked with. At the time, before the final three was made of Poch, Company, and Ange, But in terms of like, all the other managers that were linked, like I think Hansi Flick was linked at the time. I think Julian Nagelsmann was linked. Luis Enrique was linked. Other managers were linked. And I thought to myself, okay, Luis Enrique is my first choice. And I'll take Poch as my second choice. Because at the time I thought Poch would get the best out of the young players we had. He would play good football that would suit what we are trying to build. And, he's a good man manager. That's what I thought at the time. And let's just say this. It was a very, very, very disappointing season last season. For me personally, it was that bad. I think Pochettino personally, you may think I'm crazy. I think Pochettino is probably the worst manager to have managed this football club. People say Graham Potter. Graham Potter didn't get a full season. Poch did. And as far as I'm concerned, he did a lot worse than Graham Potter did. With Graham Potter, the players just couldn't be bothered. And that's why I feel sorry for him in that case. He got this job at the wrong time. Right man, wrong time. That's all it was with Graham Potter. And in hindsight, I actually think sacking him was very stupid. But that's a story for another day. Let's just get back to Poch. With Poch, it was just very disappointing to see how he managed the team throughout the season for me. And the last 5 games was never going to be enough for me to keep him, At times, may I have said on Twitter, follow me on Twitter, by the way, at J2O345. Do follow me on Twitter. I have been tweeting a lot on there since I've not been active on YouTube, but I have been tweeting a lot on Twitter, so do check that out. But regardless, with Poch, I just thought to myself, come on, mate. Like in pre-season, you showed us something. You showed us the way you wanted this team to play. And then as the season goes on, he just switches everything. And we're playing terror football. We're playing terror football here. Like, I'm seeing Enzo Fernandez in the number 10 position. I'm seeing Conor Gallagher play as a 6. I'm seeing Levi Cole play as a left back. I'm seeing Cucurella play as a right back. I'm seeing Disasi play as a right back. I'm thinking, what is going on here? Like, what are we doing? I've seen Cole Palmer play as a false 9. I've seen him put Conor Gallagher on the left wing. I'm thinking, what are you doing? Everything you worked on in pre-season that was actually going well. Like, he was inverting Cucurella. He was positioning the players correctly, like Enzo and Nkunku, And the second Nkunku got injured, he looked at his ideas, threw it to the flipping sea and said, yeah, we're changing everything. Now, I don't know whether that's because someone like Nkunku was injured and he had to change that whole thing. And even if that's true, that's not a good enough excuse. And don't get it twisted. I kind of feel for him with the injuries, but at the same time, a lot of people are saying he's to blame for the amount of injuries we've had this season, and people have gone to the past with the Tottenham stuff and how they used to train with intensity and at some point they had an injury crisis. Kyle Walker basically came out comparing the way Pep's training sessions go compared to Poch. And, the way he worded it, it sounded like maybe what Poch was doing was suicidal. And that's why we get so many injuries. So people can feel sorry for him with the injuries, but depending on how next season goes from an injury standpoint, we need to see if it's really his fault or not. In my opinion, I think a part of it is his fault because of his training methods. I mean, the guy's all about running. That's why I played Conor Gallagher all the time. You understand? But yeah, it is what it is. In terms of the season we just had overall, it just wasn't good enough. Spending the majority of the season in 10th and 11th is simply not good enough. And the fact that this fan base were proper pissed off with him getting sacked, basically, because let's be honest, he got sacked. He didn't leave. He got sacked. Because Poch wanted to stay. Whether man like it or not, he would have wanted to stay at this football club. Who doesn't want to stay at Chelsea Football Club? We are Chelsea, mate. Yeah? Understand that. They sacked him. Whether you like it or not, they sacked him. And people are pissed off about that. I'm thinking to myself, why are you pissed off? Like, seriously, why? He didn't do a good enough job this season. You can't just let the last 5 games of the season just change your mind and think, oh my God, he's turned the corner. Rival fans are like, oh, I was starting to worry about Chelsea a little bit. Shut up, mate. Shut up. Pundits are saying, oh, they don't know what they're doing. They've made a terrible decision. What are you talking about? You think I'm going to forget about the 5-0 loss to Arsenal, the 4-2 drubbing to Wolves at home, the Carabao Cup final, the semi-final against Man City? What? Come on, man. No, like, seriously, guys. The fan base were flip-flopping. After we lost 5-0 to Arsenal, 90% of the fan base were Poch out. All of a sudden, we beat Tottenham 2-0, little old fucking Tottenham. And all of a sudden, oh, Poch in. What are we doing here? When you look at overall, he didn't get the best out of Enzo Fernandez. He took too long to profile basically majority of the players, do stuff like inverting Cucurella. Yeah, there were certain players he would refuse to play, even when it looked like they were gaining momentum. Like, for example, Mykhailo Mudryk. I don't rate him, but every time it seemed like Mudryk would gather some sort of momentum, Poch was like, bench, hold bench. I just think there was many mistakes he made this season from a tactical standpoint, from a style of play standpoint. I think, his lack of ability to sort of profile the players correctly, for me, was suicidal. I mean, the way he set up, Caicedo was left in that middle to die. You got Enzo playing in the 10 alongside Gallagher. Sorry, Enzo's playing as a flipping second striker at times. Enzo's just got that whole midfield to himself. And it's like, come on, the guy needs protection. Like, can the guy get some damn security, please? Like, it's just absolutely ridiculous. So in terms of style of play, in terms of his press conferences as well, a lot of flip-flopping, a lot of lying, a lot of times he's changing his mind, a lot of times he's, saying, oh, this is Chelsea, we need to be doing this. But then he's talking about, oh, this is now the reality. Chelsea are a mid-table club. He actually fucking said that. This guy said Chelsea are a mid-table club. That is the reality. And you want him to stay. We finished 6th in the end. Is that mid-table to you? Is that mid-table to you? Please tell me. Come on, let's actually behave ourselves here for once. Like, it's just absolutely silly, So yeah, like it's just nonsense, man. Done a lot of flip-flopping. He didn't profile the players correctly. He didn't play a style of play that we could get behind. His press conferences were a load of BS. He deserved to get sacked, and we didn't win a trophy. We didn't win a trophy when in reality, we should have won a trophy. So for me, him going is actually one of the correct decisions that this ownership have made. They've made a lot of bad decisions. They've taken some big L's, Sacking Thomas Tuchel was an L. Sacking Graham Potter, in hindsight, was an L. But sacking Mauricio Pochettino, not an L at all. When you consider the job he did this season, he had no right to be Chelsea manager next season. And you know what? I was worried. I was actually worried he could stay because in my head, I was so tired of him that I was like, you know what? In an ideal world, we could finish 6th and have him still sacked. Because I didn't think there was a world where that could happen. Where we finish 6th and he gets sacked. I didn't think that could happen. I thought because it looked like the owners just wanted Europe it felt like based on the reports before he did actually go, it felt like if Poch didn't get Europe, he would definitely leave, and if Poch did get Europe, he would definitely stay. That's what it felt like based on the reports that were coming out. So the fact that he came out, sorry, my bad. The fact that he did get sacked, even though we finished 6th, is very, very relieving, and I'm very, very happy about that. So, yeah, in regards to last season, it wasn't a good enough season. He needed to go. He didn't do a good enough job. There were too many sackable offences. We can talk about the positioning of players. Like I said, with Colwell, with Cucurella, with Disasi, with Enzo Fernandez, leaving Caicedo on his own in the midfield, playing Gallagher on the left wing, playing Palmer in the false 9. Loads of bad tactical decisions, us playing loads of basketball matches, too many embarrassing results last season and embarrassing displays last season. We lost 4-1 to Newcastle. We got battered 5-0 by Arsenal. We lost 4-2 to Wolves. We beat Man United 4-3, but that was probably one of the worst football matches I've watched us play in a very, very long time, at least in a big game. Just absolutely horrible. The way he set up the team for extra time in the Carabao Cup final against Liverpool's kids. Nah, sorry. There's too many sackable offences. He should have been sacked in January. He should just appreciate the fact that he lasted the season. That is all. Anyway, Enzo Maresca. We'll be talking more on Enzo Maresca as time goes on. But to quickly say, I'm actually happy with this appointment. When I was looking at the potential shortlist, when I saw Enzo Maresca in there, I decided, you know what, let me do my research. Let me see what he's about, I watched a tactical display, a tactical video that he done. I forgot the channel's name, but big up to them. Majority of people would have watched it, where he talked about tactics and how he inverts the fullbacks and how he wants his team on the ball, off the ball, stuff like that. It was really, really impressive. I thought, you know what, him being sort of, you could say, Pep's disciple, being Pep's assistant manager in the 2022-23 treble winning season is something. The fact that he's worked with Cole Palmer and Romeo Lavia, he looks like he wants to play good football. It's positional play. His football seems to suit a lot of the players that we do have. And overall, I'm happy with the appointment. I'm happy with what I've seen so far. And I really hope he is the man that takes us to the promised land. And at least the club have shown trust in him by giving him a 5-year deal. Apparently, they're going to give him a 2+1 deal. Which, look, I can understand Enzo being like, nah, you got to trust me. You have to trust me here. This is a long-term project, right? And if it's a long-term project, you need to trust me. And he needs to show in the contract you gave me. It's a 5-year deal. And people will say, oh, why are you praising Chelsea for giving him a 5-year deal? We gave Graham Potter a 5-year deal. The directors didn't give him that. I'm pretty sure the directors did not give him that deal. This is why I say it felt chaotic. And since the directors have come in, it kind of feels like, at least now, things are starting to low-key come into place a little bit, but we need to have a good season for it to really show. They've been unlucky at times, but they've also made a lot of poor decisions. And look, in regards to them, they made this decision. They were the ones, Paul Winstanley and Lawrence Stewart, they were the ones that decided to hire Poch. And they're the ones who decided to take it 3 months for them to make a decision on which manager we got next. And that was last season. This is their last chance as far as I'm concerned. And it feels like a lot of the people in the fan base do agree with this. In regards to them, look, if things go wrong next season, people are not going to blame Enzo Maresca. People are not going to scream Enzo Maresca out, oh my God, he has to go, he's not good enough. You know, it won't be surprising if he's shown not to be good enough. I think he is good enough, and I think he's going to show people why he's good enough. But somehow he doesn't cut it. Say he's not that guy for this job. These directors are finished. And people are going to ask them to be fired. People said, if Poch is going to go, those two have to go as well. They've not gone, which means they've been given a second chance. So if they mess up on this, they are gone. Because you know what, to be fair to them, I do believe people give them a little too much criticism. I think it's a bit over the top because they're responsible for transfers, right? Alongside with Joe Shields. And as far as I'm concerned, I think ever since they've come in, which was around 2023 onwards, I think that the majority of the transfers they've gotten, I am actually happy with. And the fan base seem to be happy with. I mean, the fan base rate Gusto, right? A lot of the fan base still rate Badiashile, right? You rate Cole Palmer, don't you? You rate Christopher Nkunku. You rate Caicedo. You rate Enzo. You rate Nicholas Jackson. Mudryk seems to have a lot of fans, even though I don't rate him. So as far as I'm concerned, people love Lavia. I like Lavia. He's a baller. As far as I'm concerned, look, other than who? Maybe Disasi, Sanchez. I'm trying to think of signings that have happened under those two as sporting directors. Those two, maybe plus others, they've not taken too many L's from a transfers perspective. You know? People like Esteval Willian, who's coming in, Kendry Pires, who's both of them are coming in next year. Look, man. So look, I think they do get a little too much criticism. I do. But this is their last chance. And obviously, if they fuck up, they're obviously going to leave. I'd be surprised if they didn't. And then it's up to the guys at the top, innit? The owners, Todd Bowley, Egbali. People need to go into Egbali a little bit more, to be fair, because a lot of people got Todd Bowley because he's the face, although that's more so a Rivals fan thing. Like, rival fans seem to go Todd Bowley a lot, when it's like, really, he only owns like 10% of the club. You know, the ones you need to be going at more, the ones you need to talk about more, are Jose Feliciano, Clear Lake Capital, and Egbali. They own 60% of the football club. Those are the guys that rival fans need to talk about more often than Todd Bowley. But because Todd Bowley's put himself as the face, and at times he's made himself look like a mug, you know, on camera. I mean, he said we were going to go to the Bernabeu and win 3-0. I mean, for fuck's sake. I mean, we were having the worst season of our lives at that time. Like, come on, man. That was never going to happen. So, yeah, man. Look, it's an interesting season ahead. We're going to have a lot to talk about. I'm going to make a video on, like, winners and losers. In terms of the Chelsea squad, and who will benefit from this appointment of Enzo Maresca, and who will likely fail under his system. You know, who will succeed, who will fail. We shall see. You know, in all due time, it's gonna be interesting. But yeah, guys, that's basically it, man. I know I didn't talk about maybe everything too detailed. I talked about Poch a lot of the time, but yeah, give me your thoughts, man. I'm back on YouTube, like I said. And this is going to be consistent, you know? Like I said earlier in the video, we will talk about Enzo Maresca more often as time goes on. But just a quick debrief, I think it's a good appointment. And I think they've got this one right. And it feels like everyone at the club, in terms of the board, the directors, the owners, it feels like they're all in agreement that Enzo Maresca is the guy to take us forward. Whilst in the past, I feel like with other appointments, maybe with players signed, maybe with sackings, it felt like people just have too many different ideas, too many different perspectives on it. People are not unanimous and stuff like that, but it is what it is. But yeah, it's the last chance for the sporting directors. And it's not the last chance for these owners because they're not going anywhere. But it's their last chance in terms of faith. I think if this goes wrong, the faith in the owners will be lost. But the sporting directors will have to go. 1000%. If this doesn't work, and if it does work, people have to give them their credit, and I think it will work. So yeah, big summer ahead. Euros is coming up on Friday. We will be covering that. We will be talking about Chelsea more in the coming days. I'm very, very happy to be back, guys. I may have messed up maybe on my words at times. Maybe I haven't expressed myself properly, but you know, it's my first time back. So allow me if I didn't, articulate myself to the standard that I should be. But yeah, it is what it is. We're back, baby. Like, comment, and subscribe. Give me your thoughts on the video. I would really appreciate that. And yeah, we're back, baby. I know I've said that for the 1000th time, but we really are back, and we're gonna be consistent. So yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care of yourselves. Love and guidance. See you later. Peace.